let's talk about the power of definitiveness and making decisions, and how this one skill set can literally propel you to success. If you're having trouble approaching women, you're having trouble making money, you're having trouble committing to relationships or building the relationships of your dreams, basically getting just about anything, this could be the key or the very skill set when mastered that could change everything. Before I get into that, I want you to see where I'm at. It's very beautiful, isn't it? This is Japan. I love Japan. The Japanese are so awesome. It's one of the cleanest big cities I've ever seen. I was in New York and I remember counting from one car horn to the next. You hear a car horn honk, and I think the max I could get to was 9 seconds before another car horn would honk. Here you hardly ever hear car horns honk, and their attention to detail is incredible. I mean, look at the rooftop here. You can see all that beauty down there. It's incredible. The Japanese are action-oriented in a sense. They're detailed people that I love. I so much love and respect. But anyways, let's talk about this decisiveness quality. Let's talk about the power of it. Because I used to be a very, very indecisive man. I was scared to make decisions. I was scared to go after my dreams. I was scared to take risks. And I had to do a lot of deep work to understand what that was about. And I realized that I had trouble making decisions. I literally could not commit to anything to save my life. Now think about it. I always talk a lot about tension, right? I was terrified of the tension. Like if I made a decision and stuck to it, the tension's gonna build. If the tension builds, the tension's gonna have a reaction. It's gonna seek resolution. It's gonna seek for change. And as nice guys, if you got a nice guy syndrome, we don't want tension. Because tension means there's gonna be a reaction somewhere out there in the world that life is going to change for me. And the less I make decisions, the less I step into tension, the less things are going to change. If you lift weights and step into tension, something is going to happen. You go out and say hi to people and look them in the eyes and hold the tension, something's going to happen. You ask a girl on a date, something's going to happen. You lean in to kiss her, something's going to happen. Now, I can't guarantee what that is. That's the unknown, right? But that's the reaction that comes from stepping into tension, which requires you to make a decision. And the more definitive, another word we're going to introduce here, definitive you are in your decision, the more powerful, or the more, I say more interesting, I think in your favor, proactive, the reaction's going to be. You're going to get this reaction from the moment. It's going to be very different than if you're waffling, unsure, like you're making a decision, you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I personally think that the most successful people in the world are so good at this art. I'm here in Japan at an entrepreneurs event with my buddy Eli throws every year. It's my 3rd year going. I spoke most years. This year, Dr. Glover spoke. I invited him out here to be a keynote speaker. And then I invited Peter Vood out here, and we had a great time. Peter killed it. And Peter is a massively definitive individual, also highly successful, very wealthy. He's in his 30s. He's killed it. He's killed it in life already. That's because he knows how to make a decision. He gave this talk this weekend at the event. It was just off the charts. But what I noticed about the talk was there was no maybes, you could try this, you could do that. It was all, this is what you do to be successful. This is what I do on this day of the month. This is what I do every 90 days. This is how I make things happen now. There was an energy of definitiveness right now. This is how I live my life, and I'm always looking to improve it, to make it even better. There was no, I could, maybe, And in men, that is such a powerfully attractive quality as long as our heart's open, as long as we're vulnerable with it, and in what do we call feeling with it. If I approach a beautiful woman and I'm 1 foot in and 1 foot out, half in and half out, that means I've only half made the decision. I'm half committed. And there's nothing unsexier than being half committed to a decision for a man. Even other men will give you shit about that. Come on, man. Commit. Grow some balls, right? So decisiveness and definitiveness go hand in hand, and they're part of what make you attractive. And when you start to open your heart, you become even more attractive. The open heart part is so important. That's the courage on the emotional scale to understand my deeper work. When you get to that courage section of emotion, you get your heart open. That's where real change happens. With a closed heart, you're probably going to produce cortisol. With an open heart, you're most likely going to produce oxytocin. And that oxytocin is the cuddle love drug. You're going to feel good. It's like, I can't wait to jump out of that airplane and take a risk. I can't wait to approach that cute blonde over there. I can't wait to start this business and get my first sale. I can't wait to service my first client. This is going to be awesome. Yes, it's scary, but it's exciting scary. It's turned on scary. Whereas people who are not in definitiveness, who are doing it because they want the money, they want the girl, they want the sex as a notch on the bedpost, they don't really like the activity. They're just doing it because they have to get the thing they want. Well, they're producing the cortisol. And their attitude is, I have to do this. I'm going to force myself to do this. I'm going to force myself every day. And every day I'm going to associate pain with the process because I'm forcing myself. But someday I'll learn to love it. And in the process, they really, build a bad relationship to the very thing they want to create in their life. And then they get unhappy. They get miserable because of it. So they associate pain with taking action. They associate pain with decisiveness because it's not really decisiveness. It's I'm deciding, but I'm going to do it with a closed heart and force. But when you learn to step into tension with an open heart, you're beginning to change your whole life. And that's what definitiveness and decisiveness do. I've worked on developing this quality for years in my life because I was always so resistant to tension. I was always so resistant to action. I'd make a decision after drinking 2 or 3 Red Bulls and then forcing myself to do it, and my body was falling apart. I was just basically abusing myself. So open your mind to this idea that you can become a decisive person. You can become a powerfully decisive person. You can become definitive. You can learn to open your heart. That's what my tension journal is all about. It trains that. And if you want a copy of the tension journal, put tension in the comments, and we can see about getting you one out. But put tension in the comments. Actually, link below. If you want a copy of the tension journal, check out the link below in the description. Now, when I look, I'm constantly looking at really successful people in the world, really successful people. And they just have this quality in spades, decisiveness and definitiveness. And I always think about Napoleon Hill's book. And he has a whole chapter on decision. I highly recommend you read it if you haven't. But it's this idea that the most successful people in the world make decisions quickly. They take in all the information first. Once they've got it, they make a decision quickly and they stick to that decision. They change their mind slowly, if ever at all. And the most unsuccessful people will take a long time to make a decision and change their mind quickly. And in between there's grades of differences, like making decisions quickly but changing your mind quickly, and then making decisions slowly but sticking to those decisions. But people that make decisions quickly after taking the information in and then stick to those decisions are typically the most successful in the world. Peter was talking about this in his talk today. He makes decisions quickly. He doesn't have time to be sitting and pondering decisions. He doesn't have time to be sitting and thinking for weeks on end about what he's going to do next. He's got businesses to run. He's got kids to raise. He's got a wife to be with. He's got to make these decisions, get to the next thing, and get into the tension. Now, there is one key to this. One of the most important, if not the most important, decision you will be making is the decision to say no to most things. If you really get in alignment with the things you most want in life, the things you most want to have in your life, you're going to realize that the top things, like if you made a list of the top 25 things, and then you put them in order, the most important to the least, and then you pulled top 3 or 5 off to the side, those are the most important things. The rest is your no list. The other 20 to 23 items on that list are the things you're going to practice, you're going to put on the wall, you're going to look at every day, and you're going to say no to those on a regular basis. And you're saying, why would I say no to those? Those are things I really want. So you can have the top 3 to 5. If you're saying no to the rest, all those things that are less important, you can put all this energy through decisiveness, decision, definitiveness, and commit to the few that are left. And now you're going to begin to build a big life. You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. Remember that. You can have anything, but you can't have everything. So when you really define what you want, get clear about it, read it every day, commit to it, know what you're saying no to, commit to that, and follow that through, even though your body will fight you, and you keep opening your heart and finding that vulnerable place and releasing all the resistance, in a short period of time, month, 2 months, 3 months to a year, you're going to see so many changes in your life. You're going to be shocked. If you do this with just approaching women or getting dates alone, your life will change if you follow this formula. And that's what the Tension Journals is designed to do. Remember the links in the description, check that out. And so hopefully this helps. You know, that's how I end up in places like this, is how my life keeps getting bigger and better, and I have such a good life. Because at some point in my life, I woke up and started making decisions. My first decision was out of fear. I was afraid I was going to end up broke, home, and lonely if I didn't start changing my life. I didn't sit there and blame the world. I didn't bitch about women being bitches. I didn't bitch about not having enough money. I just made the decision to make myself better and start taking steps in that direction. And that decision has literally changed every part of my life. It's like a domino effect forward, if I could look from the beginning till now, to how much my life has changed. Decisions. Really ponder this idea. Definitiveness, decisions, courage, opening your heart in the process, and having the experience, which leads to being. Eventually you experience so much having from doing this process that you start becoming the thing. You don't even have to think about it anymore. It just shows up over and over. Money shows up. Great dates show up. Your life starts to naturally live out this energy because it's now part of who you are. So hopefully you like this video. Definitely comment. Definitely check out my previous video. It was basically on a comment about people that love to blame the world for their problems, or love to blame women for their problems. It's a great video. But in this video, I'd love to see your comments. Those comments help everybody to grow. They really get a discussion going, and we can all learn from those. So definitely put a comment in this video. Hopefully you like my action camera. I'm using the Instant 360 here. Trying that out today. Going to be doing more of those. And definitely like, subscribe, and share. And remember, only the courageous really live. I'll see you in the next video.